Creepy, crooked Judge Engeron out of New York. Don't worry, guys. We knew Trump would lose this one. He's fining Trump $350 million. This is under Letitia James. It's all crooked. Don't worry about it. It's not justice. We knew the Democrats were going to do this. Trump didn't cross paths with one single Republican or neutral person anywhere in this case. It was all Democrats, all political opponents, and they decided you got to pay $350 million. You can't do business in New York for 3 years. Let's unpack it right here on Fox News. But first, welcome to Doug in Exile. I'm Doug Tenable. This is where the happy patriots are. This is where you belong. For all the headlines, a little bit of news is entertainment. That's all I'm bringing you every day.
You cannot simply use the law as a cudgel and go after somebody in a way that appears political. This lends credence to the argument that President Trump makes over and over, that it's not just a prosecution, these are persecutions.
This is my favorite part of this whole thing is, there's a bunch of never Trumpers that hate him on the right, the Republicans. And after this kind of stuff from Judge Engeron, the proof that it's helping Trump, that it's good for Trump, is that after Judge Engeron throws this fine against him, $350 million without a jury involved. Remember, he just announced it. They just laid it on him. It's the never Trumpers and the rhinos that come out and say, Trump was right. We originally accused him of lying and saying there was a witch hunt. And now we agree there's a witch hunt. That is, the Democrats did this. Trump didn't do this. He became a legitimate victim.
And his base is going to rally to that every time this happens.
And they keep waiting for we in the base to crumble away, going like, what do you think about him being indicted? The indictments are all fake. They're all fraud. They're all politically motivated. So no, I don't normally support someone who's a felon or who's been indicted or is going to prison or whatever. But at the same time, I do support a guy when Democrats illegally and immorally try to throw a political opponent in prison and use lawfare to do it. And that's exactly what happened here. This is not about whether if Trump did anything right or wrong. This is about the Democrats weaponizing government.
We got to remember, too, that as you noted there, and as he continues to note, there weren't, quote, victims here. There weren't people that came forward and demanded justice from the attorney general. So in New York, even though we're referring to this as the Supreme Court, they have unusual language that they use in New York. It's not their final court of appeal. Their court of appeals is actually above their state Supreme Court.
And that's why this thing is going to get appealed. And their appeals court, which is above this court, is going to reverse it, I hope. And this is also why people don't trust these systems and these judges. They know they're not going to get justice. Just let it ride, guys. Roll with it. Trump's got money. He's not going to prison for this, number one. There's no prison, anything associated with it. It's just money. Trump can get money.
So the Trump team feels like on so many different counts, they've got a really strong measure on appeal. No doubt that they're going to take every penny of this to appeal.
You can't say that he gets justice. This is the same reason why they don't allow all white juries to ever sit on a guilty black man or a black man on trial. They go, look, he's not going to get justice. We're not saying all whites are racist. We're just saying the jury should look something like the person being prosecuted. The jury should look something like Trump being prosecuted. That doesn't mean just someone who sat in New York, a bunch of Democrats. It means it should be about half Republicans in the jury. He didn't get that. He didn't even get a jury. This is ridiculous. This is a hilarious fraud.
So what happens in the meantime? A lot of this has been put on hold, taking the business licenses and those kinds of things. So we'll see how they do on appeal, but no doubt that's what they're going to do.
And the other thing is, like, along with Elon Musk removing his incorporation out of Washington, D.C. and moving it to Texas, New York businesses know if you're at all right-leaning or anything close to the right, get the H out of New York because it's corrupt. They're going to come for you. You will not get justice. Why would Trump think after a 3 to 5 year ban from doing business there that he would suddenly get justice after 5 years? Why wouldn't they just come after him and fine him again and make up some other charge and just go, we found you to be corrupt again. Give us another $300 million, Trump. That's what you get for doing business in New York. You're crazy to open a business in New York. Anyone on the right, if you're a leftist and you're a Marxist or you're plugged in or you're rich or you're a coastal elite, You'll be fine because you'll have all Democrats, to parse out all of your legal woes. If you're a Republican or a conservative, you're crazy doing business there. Same thing with California.
Well, when you evaluate your own properties for the purpose of insurance or the purpose of getting a loan from a bank, it comes basically with language that says this is our assessment. Then the banks step in, they do their assessment on how much the property is valued. And in none of those cases involving the Trump organization did any of these parties bring any litigation against the Trump organization for any false representation.
There's no victim to this crime. That's what's so hilarious about it. No one ever claimed to be a victim. It's just a New York judge came in and said, I want to redistribute money. I want to punish Trump without a jury. So basically 2 people, Judge Engeron and Letitia James, did this whole thing. Both of them under the influence of George Soros, getting funded by hard left money only after Trump says he's running for president. There you go. That's justice, guys. That's the blindfolded justice with the scales in her hands.
Right. And nobody has ever accused any of these New York bankers or insurance people of being behind the ball. I mean, these guys are pretty sharp at what they do, and they know how to sharpen their pencils. So all of this is why I put this in the political category, not a legal category.
And because it's in a political category, it's going to help Trump win. Bottom line, this helps him win, and this is going to backfire on the Democrats. And that's why I'm happy, even though Trump is getting nailed on a $350 million fine. Again, it's abstract. It's just money. It's not a big deal.
It's one of the reasons the norms have broken down in this country, because when the Democrats go to these kind of resorts to get somebody they don't like, we all lose faith in the system. It's the same thing as 2 impeachments that violated the rules of the House. It's all just to get the man they don't want.
Anyone with a brain knows it's political. Okay. If you're a Republican, you'll probably think you don't get justice from a Democrat. If you're a Democrat, you're probably going to think you're not going to get justice from a Republican. That's where we're at, guys. I don't ever want to be on trial in front of a Democrat appointed judge. I don't want to get sued by Democrats or in a jury of my peers of Democrats looking at my past tweets. It's over. It doesn't matter if I'm guilty or innocent. Just tell me how you voted and I'll tell you what the outcome of the thing's going to be. And I have a right to be that skeptical when I see this kind of stuff, and all of America sees it. Anyone who's been to human resources, we know who the kiss up communists are at work. We know who rats people out and turns people in. We know who is politically on the upside of all the power centers of our culture are all Democrats. This is lawfare. And Trump's got to clean house hard.
And the perverse result of it is they're going to get the man they don't want.
And that's the good news, guys. Democrats are going to get the man they don't want in the presidency. Thank you, Judge Engeron, for doing your share. This is going to get appealed. So I hope you don't get your money. I hope Trump maybe declares bankruptcy or gets his money paid for by campaign finances, or some billionaire just gives him the money. Elon Musk could pay for this thing in his sleep and say, look, I'll take on your charges. It's going to work, guys. Don't you worry. Trump's going to be president. Engeron, you lose. You're corrupt. I'm Doug in Exile.